Hello friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and welcome to Make and Take Tuesday. It is time for us this week to make our Photoplay Year with My Gnomies December calendar. This is the last month in this year-long series where we're making these cute shaker folios using Photoplay's Year with My Gnomies collection. So you're going to need your December icons page and your December cards page. And you're going to need your December sticker sheet. And you're also going to need some bright green cardstock and some either red or teal. There's a lot of options you can go with in colors for this. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut two 8.5 by 6-inch panels of your green cardstock. And then run 1/2-inch score tape down one of those 6-inch sides. And we're going to overlap these papers. We're going to use that score tape as a guide to help us get everything nice and straight. We're just going to overlap these. That looks really good. And burnish that score tape down. That's what makes score tape really hold. And now we've got this nice long panel. Bring in your scoring tool and you're going to score at 6 and fold. Then you're going to score again at 6 and you can come over here and score at 9. Same basic folio base. This is a great little folio. So fold your right hand in, and then this little flap folds out. This becomes our pocket. And here's our 6x6 folio base. The next thing we're going to do is line our little folio. We're going to start on the inside. And I had some of the red grid paper from Photoplay, and I cut this to just over 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And normally I don't bother lining the calendar page, but this time the calendar is green and the base is green. So I thought it was a good idea to go ahead and add some contrast in here. And I'm going to be using red, and I'm going to be using Photoplay's teal grid cardstock. So in the center again, 5 3/4 by just over 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I just bump it up about a 1/16 of an inch. I tend to like narrower borders, but if you like wide borders, you can just cut it 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. All right, this little panel right here is going to be red, and this is just barely over 2 3/4 by just over 5 3/4. And then we have our little pocket flap, and this is going to be teal. And this is 1.5 by just over 5 3/4. And then inside the pocket, this is red, and this is 2 3/4 by just over 5 3/4. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and take a couple of little 1-inch scraps of paper. We're going to fold them in half, and we're going to make little gussets for our pocket sides. I typically do these about 1 inch wide by almost the height of the pocket, and then I fold them in half. You place your adhesive on the gusset so that the folded side goes against the cut edge. The reason we use a gusset is because it allows us to have the full width of that pocket. If you use adhesive on a pocket, it's going to spread out. Even if it's score tape, you're going to lose a good portion of the width of your pocket. So I like to use these little gussets because they give me the full pocket width. All right, so that folds down. Then on the back cover, I have another almost 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 of the red. Now, if you're not a fan of gnomes, I hear that from a lot of people. I'm not a gnome person. I was never a gnome person either until I saw this collection, and Photoplay's gnomes just make me laugh. I don't know what it is about them. They're not creepy. They're just whimsical and cute. But you can use this same design with any paper collection for any theme. So on the back, we're going to cut just over 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 of our Christmas shopping gnomes. And this goes on the back cover. Okay. For the front cover, I cut a slightly larger than 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 piece of the Christmas tree. That's from the Icons paper. And then I just cut these little 1/2-inch strips of my teal grid paper because I wanted a little bit of a teal border on this to make all these colors work together. So I just took the strips, and you can see I just glued them on the back, and then I came in with my scissor and I trimmed them out. And this is going to look really pretty against the red foil panel that I chose for the front cover. So let me bring this in, lay this down. Isn't that pretty together? I just really love the way that looks. So this is our front cover panel. And we're not going to do anything with this right now. We're just going to set this aside. And we'll put this on, we always put this on the last thing. That way it doesn't get messed up. So I'm just going to set it aside. All right. Then on the inside of our folio, find your December calendar and trim it out. This is 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And it's going to go right here. Then in the center, take your gnomes, and they are also 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And if you prefer to use the pink ornaments, you can. Just do what makes you happy here. I had to adjust my light, guys. Sorry, it was shining right in my eyes. And then I cut the border strip off the bottom of the cards page and split it in half. And then I trimmed the December. I want to say this is 5 1/2. Yes. And we're going to, I left the branding strip on because that's going to be the bottom of our pocket. So score along the bottom. Fold the branding strip back, cut some gussets from your scraps, lay them up against the side of your pocket just like we did before. And I'm just going to cut a little angle out of the bottom pocket flap because it'll just fold up so much more neatly. And then place your adhesive down. Center this up and glue it down. So that is that. So locate the other half of your border strip and trim it down so that it will fit on your flap. Mine ended up being, I'll give you the measurements. I didn't measure it, I just kept checking it. This is 1 3/8 by 5 5/8, and it's a good fit. And if you want to use this side of it, you can. I might use that because I think that looks really cool. So I'm going to do that instead of the Merry Christmas. This is going to go right here. And then I kept this little strip that we're going to trim. What did I say? 5 5/8, I think. And we're just going to put this here like a little border. And we're not going to worry about covering this. That looks good just like it is. But this is cool. See how this picks up on this and it ties it together. And this to me blends better with everything than the words. That looked confusing to me. All right, let's go to work on this little inside flap page. And from your Lovejoy piece paper, I want you to cut a panel that is 2 5/8 by 5 5/8. And go ahead and glue that down. The back side of this is the Holly Jolly and Merry Christmas images from the icons page. I mean from the cards page, so that you know what we're cutting here. All right. Then you have this snowman that's attached to these Christmas baubles. Cut the snow globe guy out and put him aside for your front cover. And then take this and trim the sides so that it's the same width as this panel here. What did I say, 2 5/8? Yes. Score a 1/2 inch flap on the bottom, then cut a couple of gussets for the sides, and this is going to be our little tag pocket over here. This down. Look how cute that looks together. So we're bringing in all the different colors in this collection to really make it work. Then we've got our little pink Christmas gnome. And we're going to take a strip of our paper. This is the scrap that we trimmed off. We're going to cut little banner flags on it, on the ends. We're going to fold it on the diag. Put it here. And staple it on. And then this goes in the pocket. And we'll dress the pocket up in a bit. Right now I'm going to show you what's in this pocket. We've got our green tag, which we also need to go ahead and cut a little banner flag for. I'm just going to trim this green strip off of here. And if you want to add twine or something like that, you certainly can. I'm just trying to show you how to use your scraps and stretch everything out here. Fold it on the diagonal. So that goes in the pocket. This is the little journal card. That goes in the pocket. These two images are hooked together, and I just scored between. These go in the pocket. And then let's come over here and we'll work on this. So find your scraps of green cardstock and cut a piece that is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 and score it in half at 2 1/8, and then cut your peace and joy and glue it on the front. And this is just going to go in here like a little journaling spot, just like that. That's all we're going to do there. And then you've got another one of these. You've got a ho, ho, ho and a happy holidays. And I've got the other piece of this scrap. I'm going to glue the ho, ho, ho right on the rest of this scrap. This is left over from cutting the cover. And I'm just going to center this up like this. I'm going to bring in my scoring tool and score. It ends up being 2 1/4 where I'm scoring. So this is going to be 2 3/4 inch wide by 4 1/4 inches tall. Open it up, and over on this side, put your other love, peace, joy. And then bring in some of that pink grid paper for the, this is what? 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So we're going to go 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. And we're just going to line. And again, I mean, you don't have to use grid paper. I just happen to have this in my stash, so I pulled it out because I thought it looked really good. All right, that's kind of fun. And then this is going to go in this pocket. All right. Okay, now bring in your cover, and I've got a little piece of this teal grid paper that I've trimmed to 5 1/2 inches. And then I've got this Christmas tree image that is left from the cards page. So I'm going to show you how to take this image, which is 6 inches wide, and this is how I trim it so that everything ends up even. It's a little over 6. So I'm going to take about 1/16 of an inch off each side to get it right down to 6 inches. All right. And this needs to come down to 5 1/2. So now I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off this side. And I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off this side. And now it will fit on our grid paper. I'm just checking it. I think I do want the border. I'm just looking. I just want the border to be on the top and the bottom. It looks like I need to take just shave a tiny bit off of each side. But this is how I do this to keep everything even. Okay. All right, perfect. That's great. All right, so the teal ends up being 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. The pink grid ends up being 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. So if we keep things consistent, we want this to be 5 1/4 inches wide. And so we just need to come down this much. And come down this much. But do you see now how it's balanced is what I'm getting at. So we're going to mat this on the pink. And then we're going to mat the pink on the teal. All right. Now bring in your cover. And this is going to go right across the middle. just like that. So I decided I did want to mat him on my red foil, and I just made it a very thin border and then put it right in the middle. It sort of looks like a belt buckle. And then I brought in these Buttons Galore and more shaker mixes. From this one, these are their candy cane mixes, and they're really, really cute. You just have to open them very carefully, because if you're too enthusiastic, you'll be picking up sequin mixes for hours. So I want to put some of these cute little snowmen in here with the little snowflakes. And I want to put some of these red and green sprinkles. I like the peppermint candies, those are cute. And then just a few of these really bright Christmas stockings and Christmas trees. And I think there's Santa Clauses in there too. I want to put some of these really sparkly bits in. I've got snowflakes, sequins. I want to get these sparklies in there. And some of these. And then a few of these. All right. And this mix, which is called Blizzard, is all white. And I've got some little tiny buttons in here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of these in just to supplement. I love having buttons in a shaker. Now, if you're going to do buttons, you need to make sure that you do these are all stuck to me. You need to make sure that you do the foam tape in 3 layers on the back, because otherwise your buttons will get stuck and your shaker won't shake. All right, I think that's pretty good. Maybe a few more of these. Okay. Because some always get stuck to the side. All right, so I'm pushing all of these into the middle. And here's my shaker frame. This is a Rene Bouquets, and it can go this way, or it can go this way. I kind of think I want it to go this way. It's a Christmas ornament, and I have covered this with, I think I want it to go this way, actually. I heat embossed it with a gold embossing powder. And then for these outer rings, this is one of her shadow box kits, shaker box kits. And then I did the outer rings in shabby green embossing enamel from Stampendous. Let me move these things out of the way so I don't get into trouble. All right, so now I'm going to give it a shake and see if we have any leaks. Looks really good. Oh, look how cute that is, you guys, with our little snowman in there and all those cute sequins. This is adorable. All right, I think I might have a leak somewhere because I'm finding some sequins on my table. Or they may have just been on the card itself. I think that's probably what it was. So there's our shaker. All right, guys, let's see if we can finish up our little folio front here. I've taken one of these bottle brush trees and I brushed it with glue and then hit it with some of the shabby green embossing enamel. And I'm just going to lay this down here. I bent the bottom so that I could fit it to my card front better. There we go. Fluff up these branches a little bit. And then we've got our little gnome from the sticker sheet that I matted on a bit of green, and we're going to tuck him right here. I put 3 layers of foam on his feet and 1 on the package so that he would fit in here the way he should. And this is a little homemade poinsettia and this is going to tuck right in here. And then I've got a baker's twine bow that's going to go right here. Like that. Okay. So that finishes that corner. Now I want to come up to this top corner, and I've tied a satin bow. This is really reasonable ribbon. This is one of their printed satins. And I thought that the colors worked really, really well with our paper. Turn these tails the way that I want them to go. Here we go. And I looked in my stash and I found this old Prima leaf. It's left over from something, I'm not sure what, but it's the color I want. So I'm going to put this down here. And then another baker's twine bow on top of that. And then I tied some little jingle bells and a snowflake charm together. Whoops. And I want to line these up where I want them to be. And then I'm going to come in with another homemade poinsettia. There we go. And then I've got these little beads. These are also Prima. And again, I am not sure what collection they're from. I just had them in my stash. And I'll trim that baker's twine as soon as the glue has set up, but I don't want to disturb things. So now I've got this little snow button that I'm going to put down through, oops, not that one, right here. There we go. That's cute. And then I've got a little snowflake button. These are from Buttons Galore and More. Put that right here. A little blue button. And then a little snowflake button. And another little blue button. There we go. Here's a snowflake button. Trying to decide what I want up there. Here it is, all finished up. So cute with our little jingle bells and our shaker element, our Christmas tree, poinsettias, holly berries, just really, really festive. And then it opens like this. Here's our little pocket with our pullout. Dressed it up with some stickers. Put this big sticker on this pocket. So cute. Those gnomes. Our little tag goes in the pocket. All the goodies over here, I just added ornaments to the top of the tags to cover up the staples, and here's how I dressed up the calendar sheet. I just took a strip of my grid paper, put the December title over that, added holly, stockings, the 25, the candy cane, a present, and an ornament. So that is our final Year with My Gnomies monthly shaker folio. I hope you've enjoyed this series as much as I have. I have one that I'm working on putting together for next year so we can continue doing these little monthly projects together. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this series, please give this a thumbs up so I know what you're thinking. And I wish you all a really blessed and happy and Merry Christmas. So I'm going to clean up this mess and get my craft on. Bye.